Hey, this is BAO Breaks Down, and I'm gonna show you the final mix for the song Perpetual Heartbreak. Let's go! So, last time I showed you the arrangement of what instruments come in where and all that stuff. And right now, I will show you how I mix things to achieve various effects. So the first thing you hear is that mellotron sound. And it doesn't have that much on it, it's just like got the melted cassette thingy. And then you hear this piano and the voice. So what I'm doing here is, let me mute the voice. Mellotron lives slightly left, piano lives slightly right. So they carve out a little space in the middle, and that is where my voice lives. So you'll hear left mellotron, right piano, and the voice is right in the center. The voice has, as you saw in the last video, a bunch of effects on it. And there's two layers, right? One is a natural, the regular voice, and one is just the high end. There's a ton of automation going on here. And basically, let me pull that down. Let me show you this voice and the way that I automated those effects. In the natural voice, you'll see the sun comes out, you stare a while. I made a bus that has a big empty space for that voice, and that's what all these effects are. And basically, in the beginning, these first 4 lines of lyrics are in that big space, that big melted outer space, right? You hear that? All that stuff going on? That's kind of like you blow smoke out the window and it dissipates into those cool patterns. But the second part of the lyrics here, I removed that. So you'll see me automate that out. The sun comes out, you stare a while. So basically, you know, when the sun comes out, you're less spacey. So I removed all the space, and that's kind of a more tight sound. Oops. Stare a while, you'd rather just stay inside your perpetual heartbreak. So I don't know if you heard that, but Perpetual Heartbreak has that long delay or echo that says perpetual heart, and that's run through kind of a telephone effect, and that's that here. I just turn it up for only a couple of syllables and then fade it out. Inside your perpetual heartbreak. So that just highlights the phrase perpetual heartbreak and creates that effect. There's a couple of other automations, but they're not important. So remember that left-right thing I was talking about and making space in the middle? You're going to find that again over here. So this mellotron is slightly to the left, this piano is slightly to the right. What centers everything are the drums. That's right in the middle. But you're gonna hear the brass all the way, not all the way, but a lot more to the left. And as the song progresses, I automate that even more to the left. So let me show you. This line here is basically showing me turning it slightly left to a lot more left. And that's because the strings come in on the right. So when the strings come in here, they're all on the right. So I pan the horns to the left to make space on the right for the strings. And when I do that, there's still that big space in the middle. Guess who comes in the middle? This guy, the kick drum. So I secretly, slowly make space in the middle for this. So when that 808 comes in with the hats, that 808 is right in the middle, right in your face. And since it's a lower instrument, you want to put it in the middle so that people can just like feel it. So to finish that thought off, you'll see this 808 kick drum has a ton of effects on it. So that would be right here. It has a lot of stuff on it. And I'll play it for you. So I've tuned it using a pitch corrector, like an auto-tune, because the waves were pretty wild, and I that was kind of a shortcut to tune it. But it's been distorted using a distortion, it's been compressed and all this stuff, and then I added this sub-bass effect to pull up the really low end of it, so it's boomy, which kind of was a mistake because it ended up screwing everybody up, but I kind of liked it, like how everything was melted and messed up. And what it forced me to do is usually something I would never do, is put an equalizer on the master output bus that toned down all that low end that I put on that kick drum. So I'll play it again. Before, it was like super low, and I pulled the main gain up just because I wanted all my songs to be the same volume when I sent it to the mastering engineer. The last thing I want to show you is I built a bunch of these buses and put different size rooms, different types of spaces, so I can send various instruments to them. For example, the strings go to this huge church. So the strings and the horns, I guess. Shh. Quiet you. And, you know, a couple of other things go to smaller rooms, like that mellotron. And the reason I make these buses that have different sizes of spaces to send instruments to is, rather than putting these effects on an individual instrument, you send a bunch of them to the same room, quote unquote, so that when a listener listens, it feels like they're in the same space with various things. So I can be in the same space, in the same church with the horns, and it all feels united. Otherwise, sometimes there's a danger of things not sounding cohesive. And that's that. Thank you so much for paying attention to this stuff, I hope. And if you can, visit my website, check out my music, and there's a big blue support button if you can buy me a coffee. Otherwise, please share this with your friends, or hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. And thank you guys so much. We'll do some other songs next time.